Hi everyone, welcome back to another plan with me. I am just clearing my desk off because I've got a couple of projects here that I've been working on. I tend to be a chaotic crafter, so I tend to have a couple of them going on at one time. I apologize for there not being plan with me's up for the last 2 weeks. That's because I kind of lost the footage before I could get them saved to a good place. I did plan, and as you'll see here, it is in there. For example, here is 2 weeks ago. As always, at the beginning of the month, there's monthly goals and weekly goals. We've got some gold washi down for childhood cancer awareness. Doesn't mean much to you, but for me, it was just a reminder that kids are kind of important and special. You'll see my trackers down there don't have a whole lot of tracking, and that's just because I forgot to do it. I changed how I do my weekly goals. It's a bigger box now. As you can see, what I did is do my weekly goals, and then at the end of the week, what I'm doing is following up to show you or show me what exactly I fell short on or what I need to work on. I think that's a little bit better of a theme. So for example, that week I had drink Shakeology 3 times a week, and that definitely didn't happen. I wanted to run at least once a week. That also didn't happen. And then this week, for some reason, I kind of forgot to set goals. At the top, you will see some stamping that is Studio L2E as well as Mama Elephant stamps. And then here we are to this week. As always, we've got our boxes down. Someone asked me what the colored boxes are, what I'm tracking at the bottom, and as I mentioned before, they are things that I track. I've got a different color for 3 different things. We've got the blue for water and hydration. We've got pink for tracking my protein intake, how many servings of protein I have a day, and then green for vegetables, because, well, let's face it, unless you're vegetarian, you're definitely not getting enough vegetables in a day. And I get nowhere near, and I think that's part of my weight problem, is that I'm just not eating enough variety of healthy stuff. Over the last couple of years, I've definitely gotten a little bit better at cutting out processed foods and junk foods, a lot of sugars, except for cakes and wine and alcohol and cake. Did I mention pie? Anyways, a lot of processed foods. Like, I don't eat McDonald's anymore. I think it's been 7 years since I had McDonald's and chicken nuggets and all that. I still eat pizza once in a while. Pasta was always one of my big ones. But now it's a lot of whole foods. Fresh meat, steak, chicken. Brussels sprouts are actually one of my favorite foods, despite the reputation they have. They're really great roasted. And a lot of good foods I grew up with. I'm Filipino by race. I'm Filipino, Chinese, and Hawaiian, and so I get to eat a lot of ethnic food that for me is actually comfort food, but is actually pretty healthy. You'll see that in some of the videos that I've done for cooking. I do some cook with me's. The nice thing is that they're paleo, so there's not a whole lot of fake stuff in it. You'll see stuff like vinegar and soy. And anyways, right here are my washi rings. I am picking out new washi. It is birthday week, so I want to do some fun stuff. Right there is a party hat washi, and then I've got some gold washi because, as I said, it's Go Gold for childhood cancer. And then right now I am digging through a big tin of washi for my candles. I've got a candle washi, and no, that's definitely not it. That one was a set of smacking lipsticks. Those are really popular. They're cute. I don't know when I will use those, but they're really cute, and I'll eventually find a use for those. Probably reading cards for friends. I've got some really fashion-forward friends. Right now I am laying down a plain matte gold washi. This one is by 3M. They're also known as Scotch, depending on who you talk to. And I am going to layer my party hat washi on top of that. I wanted to do this just because I wanted to include the gold, but still wanted to use the party hats, and it actually turned out pretty good. I like the way that it looks. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next page, and as always I do weekly go between the top and the bottom of the page as to where I'm putting the washi. This week it's at the top, and that's pretty fun because it is the candles that I wanted. It's because it's birthday week. Yes, of course, it's candles. It could be any type of candles for any type of celebration, but it's birthday week, so why not call them birthday candles? I always have trouble putting washi down, and I'm not sure why. Especially when it's up at the top and bottom, it tends to want to move up or down a little bit. Right here, I have pulled out my Studio L2E birthday set to mark in big happy letters that it is birthday, happy birthday on Wednesday, which is the 16th. I am 39 this year, not quite 40, and that was kind of depressing when I realized for a brief moment I thought I was going to be 40 this year, and I'm like, oh, seriously? And then I realized I'm only 39, and I'm like, oh, that's not so bad. But every year I realize I'm getting a little bit older. My nephew actually recently called me, and he likes to call and tease me because he's 15 this year. Gosh, he's getting old. But he likes to tease me about things he does now that I did years and years later. At any rate, this is Happy Birthday. I am using a Close to My Heart stamp set that is in the color Petal, which is a shade of purple. I like the way that looks, and right now what I'm looking for is some little confetti and chalk ticker tape type stuff to go around that, just to make it a little bit happy. As I said, I've decided I really like the look of stamping in my planner, and I want to do it a little bit more. I've got this really huge stamp collection, and why not get a little bit of use out of it? I'm not like a lot of planners where I am on Etsy quite a bit, buying tons and tons of stickers and more stamps. I won't lie, I do get out there and buy quite a bit, like those Studio L2E stamps. It's just some fun stuff. This is another Close to My Heart stamp set. I didn't catch the color as the video was scrolling by during this voiceover, but I'll go ahead and make sure to link all the products that I'm using, or as many as possible, down in the description below. If you have questions and I don't answer them, please feel free to leave a comment and ask me, because I'm more than happy to answer. Here we are, putting them down. As always, when I stamp, I set the stamp face down as if I was already having them on an acrylic block. That way I get them placed exactly how I want when I pull out my stamp block, and then I just have to press down and then re-ink them so that they get put correctly. Now that that's down, what I'm going to do is start listing my appointments and my goals for the week, my to-do list. You'll notice over on the left side something a little bit different. Rather than a review of the last week, what I've started to do is keep track of my meals and what I'm eating. This is because in the last month I've lost not a ton of weight, but a significant amount, for me at least, just because I've had so much trouble losing weight in the last 2 years or so. Oddly enough, when I started running in 2010, I weighed less than I do now, and somehow with all that running, I managed to gain more weight than I lost, which seems odd to a lot of people, but it does happen when you're not balancing what you're eating with your activities. Between 2010, the middle of 2010 and now, I run about 14 half marathons, 1 full, and a whole slew of 5Ks. And what I'm paying attention to now is how I'm exercising and what I'm eating, just because I think what happened is I just wasn't balancing everything out, and I was eating way more than I thought. Right here, and you're not seeing it, I apologize for not getting it higher on camera, but I am using some banner flags in my to-do section. These are from Inspired Blush. I decided what I wanted to do is make my to-do list a little bit more neat and orderly. So I pulled out these to-do flags, and unfortunately, they weren't quite what I was looking for, and that's mostly because they didn't quite line up with the grid on the paper itself, and that kind of irked me. It bugged my OCD. So because I'm using my friction markers, I did erase the things that I put down, and then I pulled the flags off and put them back on the carrier sheet so I can hopefully reuse them. And then I pulled out some more stamps. I'm sorry, some more stickers, and these stickers are by the Reset Girl. You'll see that briefly here in just a moment. Oh, this is me pulling out the stamp set from last week, where I found I have some little bugs on last week's layout. If you go back a couple minutes, you'll see them. They're cute little bugs. They're by a company called Mama Elephant. And I just love them. They're so cute. Gosh, did you know voiceovers are really hard to do? At any rate, what I just did is I pulled out another Studio L2E stamp set. This is the hexagon set, and what I am doing is actually lining a couple things up. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is not the hexagon set. These are this is one of the teardrop sets. I don't recall the exact name, but I'll go ahead, as I said, and link them up at the bottom. Because I took those flags off, I decided I wanted to try something a little bit different, and I put these down to see if they would work in the direction that I wanted to go in. But they're a little bit bigger than I wanted, so in the end I decided to put them down and not use them. That's part of the fun of planning though, right? To decide which of your supplies you want to use and which ones you don't. Right now I have a piece of acrylic. This is part of a stamping set, and what it does is allow me to stamp down on something and see what it'll look like without fully committing to putting it on the page. What I just did is show you it's the Highlight Drop set by Studio L2E. That carrier sheet, I didn't like the way it looked, so I decided not to go in that direction. Mostly that sheet is used for lining up acrylic stamps and making sure that you get, if you have to do multiple stamps, you get them done in the middle, in the correct spots. Why am I so out of focus? I'm sorry about that. I have a bad habit of bringing something up to the camera to show you, focusing in on that, and forgetting to reset the focus so that you guys can see what's going on. Right here, what I'm doing off camera is just taking those banner flags that I was using a few moments ago. I'm putting them back on the carrier sheet. They weren't sitting correctly in the spots that they belonged. They were rolling up. So I put them in a different spot. That's basically what I'm doing. By the way, in the background, you'll see those cool little kettlebells. Those are in my shop. It's ohheyliana.etsy.com or something like that. It's ohheyliana at any rate. Right now, I am pulling out some more flags and stickers. The first one I pulled out was some flags by My Newest Addiction, but as I was pulling those out, I noticed that in the sheet protector next to it are my Reset Girl stickers, and those looked super cute as well. In fact, I liked them a little bit better, so I decided to pull those out as well. These are from her Honey Girl collection, and I love the Honey Girl set. It's got a really cute name that brings me back to my childhood. Honey Girl is a term of endearment in Hawaii, and what I'm doing right now is putting down some of those arrow flags, 3 of them, to delineate different things I wanted to track. Instead of using my friction markers, I don't know why, but I grabbed one of my Papermate flares and started to write here. I believe that is my to-do, to call. What else did I write down there? To-do, to call. And then to go. And then I started listing things I needed to do, call, and go to. Like the grocery store, buy some dog food, go for a walk, call T-Mobile, call the eye doctor because it's that time of year to reschedule my yearly exam, clean the litter box, fun things like that. But for some reason, like I said, I forgot to focus in. I'm sorry about that. Here we go. We're back in focus. And now I am going to look back, like I always do, at the last couple weeks, see what I need to move into the new week to continue doing what I need to do. You'll see that the happy birthday stamp, the Close to My Heart ink, did bleed through. It did bleed through a decent amount. It is a pigment ink, so it does stamp down a little bit harder. Sometimes you can circumvent that a little bit by pressing a little bit lighter, but it doesn't bug me enough that I won't use pigment inks when I'm stamping in my planner, and a lot of that is because it's my planner. I'm going to do what I want. I like the way it looks on the front end, and it's not like this is going to be on some TV show or featured on some magical YouTube channel that's going to get 10 million views, and in the end, it just makes me happy. Now that I've got my to-do list going, I am starting on the main week, and I start with red. Everything gets color-coded. Red is the important stuff, appointments that I've got coming up, things that I don't want to forget. As you can see, there's happy hours with my girlfriends. I've got a potluck on Saturday, and then there is the True Planner webinar, as well as the Running with Scissors open house. Running with Scissors is a local scrapbook store. They're really great, but they're about a half hour away from me. I'm not entirely sure that I'm going to go, but I do want to get that in there just in case I do. Green, as you saw on the left-hand side, is financial. That's my Etsy payday. For those of you that shop my Etsy store, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I'm not getting tons of sales right now, and a lot of that is because I'm not taking the time to put things in my shop so that you guys can buy them. I apologize for that. I am getting on that. In the middle of that, I decided in that top empty block I wanted to do some more stamping. I had some ideas on a pattern that I saw on the Studio L2E blog, so I pulled out the hexagon stamp set again. And what you're seeing here is I'm pulling off 3 different patterns. One is a solid hexagon, another is a hexagon with a heart in it, and the third is a polka dot pattern in the hexagon. And I'm just laying them in a diagonal pattern, and then I'm going to pull out my stamp block so that I can stamp them in that pattern. You see that I put some post-it notes down, and the post-it notes are to block off areas that I don't want to stamp, even though I want the stamp itself to continue the pattern in that direction. Basically, it's like masking. In fact, that's exactly what it is. It's masking off the areas I don't want the stamp to hit, so that I can get the pattern on there anyways. I went back and I'm using the petal color again from Close to My Heart. The first stamp didn't stamp too well, so I went and added some more ink and went over that area again, and I'm just stamping them next to each other so that it creates a honeycomb pattern. It didn't ink correctly or in the way that I wanted to, but I was happy enough with the results. The only thing I wasn't happy about is my ability again to keep the camera in focus, so I apologize for that again. You will see it at the end of the stamping section of this video, where how this video turns out and how the stamping turns out. So I think you'll like it. It's the first time I've done this type of pattern, so I think I need to do some work on that, and then I'll be fine with it. You should definitely try it though if you own the Studio L2E hexagon alphabet. Go ahead and try something like this. It's one of the great things about their blog. She's got a great design team, and that design team does a bunch of really cool things. So feel free to try them. If you do try them, take a picture and tag them on Instagram. She's gonna love that. I just really liked the hearts and the polka dots, so I like the way that turned out. I did want to make sure to also sit down and do my weekly goals.
This is how it turned out.
So we're going to rearrange a few things on my desk so that you guys can see things.
With a little more work, that could be really pretty looking.
I had an Oreo sheet.
You should try it off yourself.
It really sounds good.
You can do it in any type of planner. I used Post-its.
What I'm doing right now is I'm showing you the areas. As you can see, it wasn't perfect. Again, this is my planner, it's my personal planner, so I don't care as much how that turned out.
And use different color stamps.
But it is something I'm probably going to work on a little bit more.
Dye-based ink stamps from Close to My Heart. This one is in Petal. This is an older one. I've had this for a while. It does bleed through the pages of my Moleskine planner, so you do want to be careful with inks. Use what you're familiar with. A lot of people using Erin Condren's, I know, use chalk-based inks because it works a little bit lighter.
Oh, look how quick I was in refocusing.
I'm liking the way these columns look. Because I use my flares, I can't really change the column.
Here I am showing you again because I probably didn't mention it earlier.
But if I use my frictions, I could probably
what I did with those
do some
arrow flags.
Something else that's prettier.
The week. This is pretty much
there's not a whole lot going on.
All there is to my week. There's not a whole lot here, and a lot of that does have to do with the fact that it's my birthday this week. I am adding some more stickers here just because it looks pretty. These little circles with the stripe patterns are from the Reset Girl. What I'm going to do with them is actually use them as backgrounds. I am currently putting some small icon stamps onto ink pads. I am reusing a pad, an acrylic block that I haven't yet cleaned off. And that's just because, well, it's got multiple sides and it fits, and I know what I'm doing. So I pulled out, this is just a plain black pigment ink pad, and I am putting down a wine glass for happy hour. I'm going to put a book icon. And that's because I have some Plan With Me videos, and it looks like I forgot to set that up, so I'm going to do that right now. That one's going to be a Plan With Me. It's got a book icon because I don't happen to have a camera icon stamp. And then there's going to be some filming planned for Thursday as well. I don't know why I forgot to mark Plan With Me. That just seems crazy. I do it every week. It's the same ink pad, and you'll see that when I get the stamp down, I find that I don't like how light it is, so I'm going to go over it again and restamp in the same position. That's one of the fun things about acrylic blocks, is that you can see where you stamped, and you don't have to use some special tool to align your stamp with the old spot to get it to stamp in the correct spot again. There we are. We've got the Plan With Me set. Now at the bottom of the screen where you can't see, I apologize for that. I am doing it again because I want to film a video comparison of my Instax Share printer compared to the Polaroid Zip printer. I do have both of those, and you should see a comparison video go up in the next week or so. Just because in the Facebook planner groups and crafting groups, I so often see the question which one people prefer, and there's so many different options. There's a good amount of people that have one, and just as many that have the other.
Yeah, there we go.
And yet again, an equal amount that have the
ignore this.
selfie printer. Selfie printer? That's SELPHY. Not selfie as in picture that you take of yourself. I'm not sure why they call that selfie. That's a good question. Or even if that's pronounced correctly. At any rate, here I am setting my goals for the week. Birthday week, so there's going to be lots of relaxing. I am going to play lots of video games. But of course I do want to make sure that I drink my Shakeology 3 times a week. Let's get some walking in. I did the previous week I did a 10K race that I'd signed up for months ago, and it didn't go as well as I wanted it to.
You don't
I
really have to
finished,
set a whole lot of goals. So my goals
but
look
my
like
lung
this
capacity
week.
is
Relax,
nowhere near the same as when I was running
video games,
full marathons and half
technology,
marathons.
and walk 3 miles.
Back
3
when I
times.
thought 6 miles is nothing. I know that it's not nothing, that many people just can't do that. But I've decided to start walking a little bit more just so that I can get that done.
What else am I to do? Those trash cans. Okay, there you go. That's all of it. Let me know if you have any questions. And as always, thank you for watching.